Hi, this is Dr. Flight. This module and this segment is focused on the importance of new products and the role that new products play in the development of the firm or the organization. We'll begin this introductory segment on why we should study new products and, more specifically, the new product development process. First, we need to consider that developing products and the research and development associated with them, launching new products, represents a huge business. Worldwide, billions of dollars are spent as we develop new products and try to grow as a firm using product development as a source of growth. Creating new and innovative products is not something that's easily done, and it's not done very frequently or often. And so a lot of money and time and effort is spent into the prospects of delivering something that is new and radical. So that places a particularly large emphasis on the development process. In addition, as technology advances, it seems like new products and new innovations and new technologies are being created at a more rapid rate than they used to be. The rapid rate or acceleration of new technologies has provided even greater emphasis for firms to develop new products to incorporate those new technologies in them. So we should certainly think about studying new products because it impacts a lot of our society and a lot of the growth that a firm is going to experience. In addition to studying it for those reasons, though, we also know that new products and new product development help form the strategic direction that the firm may choose to go in. So if I'm developing new products for my company, my organization, then those new products represent the future of how I will do business and how I will grow moving forward. So new product strategy is certainly an element that managers will use to chart direction and to decide where they will do business in the future, in addition to setting goals and objectives for the firm. Very common growth strategies that are discussed in marketing include market penetration, market development, product development, and a diversification growth strategy. These strategies incorporate both the consumer market and the products that a firm is going to offer the markets that they wish to go into. So if we think about a market penetration strategy, what we're thinking about is using an existing product and selling more volume and more units of that product to existing markets that we serve. Market development strategies include ones where we take existing products that we have and we bring them to new markets. Product development and diversification strategies both require new products to be created. And so if I'm doing one of these strategies, if I'm thinking about growing my cash flow, growing my firm revenues, and trying to reach new markets, I may consider developing new products in order to be able to do that. Consider, if you will, Ben & Jerry's ice cream. So Ben & Jerry's is a well-known, locally sourced ice cream company in Vermont. And they have a whole bunch of different flavors that have really, quite frankly, redefined the ice cream industry and market along with Haagen-Dazs back in the late 1980s. But you can see their flavors include things like Cherry Garcia, which is a shout out to the Grateful Dead. Chocolate chip cookie dough, chocolate fudge brownie, chunky monkey, and so forth. You'll also see fish food, which is again another co-branding opportunity that they've taken with the band Fish, which is also a Vermont-based band. That combination of brands has created a new product for them to reach potentially a new market with. You'll also see that they've expanded out of ice cream into frozen yogurt. Number 9, another Cherry Garcia flavor is low-fat frozen yogurt. So by doing so, Ben and Jerry's has developed new products to reach new markets. And these new products, each new ice cream or each new foods that they produce, each new yogurt or whatnot, creates a new revenue source for them. As a little fun fact, useless in fact, there are certain demographics across the United States that enjoy ice cream. If you can think of the U.S. market that consumes the most amount of ice cream per capita, that will be kind of a little fun fact we'll pick up here in a second. When we look at Ben & Jerry's product assortment that you just saw, and we think about where those products lie on what we call a market product grid, we look at the top of the grid here and we see products. These products are going to be existing products and they're going to be new products. So current products and new products are listed here. If we're engaging in new products, then we will be developing new products to reach the markets we have or maybe new markets we want to serve. So we have products here on the column headers, and then on the rows we have our markets. Those would be customers that we are currently serving or customers that we would like to serve in the future. We might think of them as also market segments that we either currently serve or will serve in the future. So inside this 2x2 matrix, you see market penetration. So the market penetration strategy is going to be one where we continue to sell ice cream that we have already in an offering to existing customers. The market development strategy suggests that we're going to find new customers. So this would be developing a new market segment, but we'll take our existing products or our current products to sell in those new markets for the very first time. Over here, when we talk about new product development, we are talking about developing something that the company does not currently do. In this case, it'd be a very unusual extension of the brand where they might offer a clothing line to customers who already buy their ice cream. So we're using an existing market segment that we currently serve, but we're going to serve their needs in a different way by providing a different product. Diversification is another strategy we use sometimes to, again, reach a new market. So in this case, South American markets with a new product, and in this case, it's clothing. Okay, so that's where we have new growth opportunities where products and product development can drive a strategy for the firm moving forward. Back to that fun fact, Long Beach, California is the demographic consumes the most amount of ice cream per capita, if you can believe that. Moving on, when we talk about the product development process, it is a process that firms will go through and will develop and use in an effort to become more efficient. Some will say that developing new products is very difficult, and as a result of that, a lot of products fail once they're newly launched or once they're commercialized, and you start to see sales come in. The fact is, in some industries that may be true, that there may be a higher rate of failure in some industries, but academic research suggests that the typical or average failure rate is somewhere around 40%. Not necessarily up in the 80s and 90s, and certainly not as low as 10, but some products, depending on the industry, will fail more, so brought to market, and ones that simply don't succeed. When more effort is placed in the product development process, however, we know that the failure rate goes down. So more product success in the marketplace is the result of better screening and better better work done in the product development process. As an example of this, let's say we have 100 different new product ideas. We go through a step-by-step process, the first of which may be to screen initially the 100 ideas, and we're going to want to remove the ones that don't make sense for our company or don't make financial sense or don't seem to be a good fit for us. So typically when that happens, we'll take about 30% of our new product ideas and we'll simply remove them or discard them because they don't meet an initial screening type of a requirement. The next step would be for us to screen the ideas or make some type of an evaluation outside the firm. We call that a concept test. So consumers would look at our product idea and then they would decide whether they think it's a good idea or not. And again, we're going to discard a whole bunch of ideas, roughly 20% of our ideas, based on what consumers like and don't like about the concepts we have bringing forward. Additionally, we're going to do some development work where we will make prototypes, we'll make example products, we will make sure that we can technically and feasibly create the product. After this phase, again, we will discard even more, leaving us with roughly 30 different product ideas that could potentially go to market. So already we have discarded roughly 70% of the ideas we initially started with simply because we're screening them and we're verifying that the ideas make sense and are feasible for us and for the market to consume. From this number, we're left with roughly 25% of our original products to go to market. So now, when we go to market, some of these products will succeed, and of course, some of them will fail. However, we've already weeded out all the bad ones, or the ones most likely to fail. So our resulting failure rate or success rate, our success rate is higher than it normally would be, and our failure rate is lower than it normally would be. Averaging out this together, firms that spend more time doing the product development process have a higher success rate in product development and a lower failure rate. These firms that adopt the best practices in product development also represent firms that have great cash flow from new sales and new products. Evidenced here, percentage of sales from new products, percentage of profits from new products is much higher with firms that use best practices in product development when compared to firms that do not. We can also look at the overall success rate of products in the marketplace, hovering around 80 to 82%, whereas firms that don't use best practices in product development are somewhere in the mid-50s. So the lesson to this message is that firms that use a solid product development process tend to have more success in launching new products and have lower failure rates and increase cash flows, sales, and profits from the result of new products. So firms that actively work on their product development process use a number of different tools and activities that we'll talk about this term in this course. So developing new products using creativity techniques, analyzing pros and cons of different product features and attributes and trade-off analysis, testing our product ideas with consumers in a concept test is a method of forecasting that we'll use. Incorporating what customers wish to see and hear and have in the product is something that is typically done, and also testing of the actual product in use testing and then testing in the marketplace as well. In addition to these types of activities that the absolute best firms do and best practices in product development, firms also engage in incorporating the product development process into their routine business functions. So again, this is not something that is done in isolation with just marketers or just product developers. This is something done that's integrated within the rest of the entire firm's body of activity. This includes global activity and operations, using your product development process as a tool within your product portfolio and your cash flow portfolios, incorporating product development in your communication techniques, information gathering opportunities, getting new product ideas, for instance, from customers online is certainly a tool and technique that we would want to use. Concept selection, using a process to screen products and to evaluate them for those that make sense for our firm. And then also making sure that the process that we engage in supports different communities within our firm. So we typically would want to take a team-based approach towards product development. And that tends to be the most successful type of process we can use. So collaborations and teamwork are very, very important within the firm as we move forward. New product teams are often formed as part of this process, and these teams are typically what we call cross-functional. So that a team that's developing a new product would include individuals from marketing and from research and development, from procurement, from manufacturing, from design, from a costing perspective, and so forth. Each member of the team is expected to contribute and bring with them their skill sets that are unique to their specific area. And as the team builds the product, it's very likely to achieve buy-in from lots and lots of different areas at the firm, which would help us avoid some narrow form of viewpoint or just the product design from maybe one specific stereotype or one specific point of view. Top firms, as we know, certainly use teamwork as a key component when they develop these new products. In addition to teamwork, firms nowadays very often use a global approach to develop new products. So extending beyond the home base or corporate headquarters, one of the things we want to think about is where our market is and where our production is. And oftentimes this includes a global type of perspective. So top firms employ individuals around the world for research and development, but also they might do local market-based work to try to understand their market and the domestic market that they plan on selling the product in. By using a global approach, firms are able to take advantage of the different skill sets that are available within all of their subsidiaries and across their whole organization. This may be at home or it may be around the world. So having a global innovation culture is oftentimes a hallmark of a successful firm in their product development process and ends up being very important to the success of the overall product development process. Some examples of firms that have incorporated a global reach that are highlighted here include Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble sells a lot of consumer non-durable goods all around the world, so it makes sense to be able to get input from manufacturing, from research and development, and also from markets that are based globally. So to have just one location that they would do business in really isn't feasible for that company. So to be able to do global research and global product development makes a lot of sense for them. Apple, in their early design work for the iPod and many of their other products, find greater efficiencies in production and product development in Asian countries such as Japan, yet they recognize that they sell their product worldwide. So much of their product design consumer market work might happen in one market like the US, but the actual development of the product physically and the actual manufacturing and technical design of it may happen elsewhere. IKEA is another great example of a Scandinavian company that has a very clear understanding of the type of product that they want to sell, yet the manufacturing of the product and the sourcing of the materials could be a global activity. And now their product market base, where they sell their products and who their customers are clearly a global type of a market. So again, doing work around the globe in order to provide this product makes a lot of sense. To finish up this segment, I just want to do a real quick wrap up. New products, new product strategies are used to provide direction and pathways for financial growth. There's certainly an opportunity to drive and direct the company, and so new product strategies are important for doing that. Strategies that include growth strategies like the penetration strategy, product development, diversification, market development strategies certainly play into this. In addition, best practices in new product development exist. Some firms do the new product development process better, and when they do it better, they outperform their competitors. So the new product development process could, in fact, be a form of competitive advantage for a firm to engage in. Finally, the new product development process involves an entire firm and the cooperation of lots of different interfunctional pieces within the company. This may be within a firm locally, but very often requires the perspective of the whole firm, and especially if the firm operates in a global environment. So that wraps up this segment on new product development and an introduction of why new product development is important to the firm.